Now, we bring in the head coach of the New York Jets, and that's Rex Ryan. Rex, we have to start out with a very important question because we had on Al Leiter.
Okay.
And he said that he lives a couple of blocks from you. And we were wondering that if you saw Al Leiter in the street, would you know who he was, and would you say, hi, Al, or would you blow him off?
No, of course I know who he was. Al's a great pitcher and things. He does a lot for, youth baseball and everything in that area. But, yeah, of course I know Al. He's, like you say, he's a neighbor, really. Our kids went to Summit High School at the same time and things like that. So, of course, I know Al.
Now, he gave away one of your secrets. He said that he sees you at Starbucks and you order a venti every day. Is that true?
You know what? It used to be, but, I'm trying to cut back a little bit.
Right.
There's another place that I go to and things as well. But really, I do. I go for the Frappuccino, man, whether it's Starbucks or somewhere else. But, yeah, I've cut back. I'm actually trying with the small Frappuccino.
Nice.
Now, you're a big sports fan, so what's got your eye tonight? Mets, Yankees, or Rangers Game 7?
Oh, man. I tell you what. You got to go Rangers. Really, for the way they battle back, like you got to, tip your hat to them. And obviously, I'm a hockey fan anyway. But, to be down 2 games and then, to force a Game 7, I know it's in Pittsburgh, but that should be awesome. And of course, I'll still throw it back to Mets Yankees as well.
Now, Rex, I want to ask you this from a coaching standpoint. I'm sure you follow what happened to St. Louis' mom. She dies unexpectedly. He plays in that Game 5. They win. He scores the goal in Game 6. They win. As a coach, do you want to use that as motivation? Do you have to say anything? I mean, how do you dance that line of not wanting to be inappropriate and using a tragedy to motivate your team, but at the same time seeing how they react to it and wanting to see if there's a way to be able to use something like a motivating factor in that area?
Yeah, as a coach, you don't have to say anything, and clearly the way the Rangers players responded, what you are is just amazed that he's doing this. Obviously, he's got a heavy heart, and but as a coach, you never want to ever use it. You never want your players to ever go through something like that. Mm-hmm. But the fact that this young man is there supporting his teammates, at this time, I think is enough said, and I think I'm sure nothing needed to be said, and probably nothing was said by anybody. It was just certainly understood, and I'm sure his teammates appreciated him.
All right, now, Rex, we had you on after you picked Calvin Pryor, so we know your feelings on that. 12 new players you got coming in. Are you excited about this draft? Do you think it filled the holes that you need?
Yeah, I absolutely think. We got Jet players. That's what we were trying to get, and John and I talked about it a long time. That was, we're trying to build a team with 53 guys that fit that kind of profile and just love to play the game and are gym rat types and physical players. And certainly you talked about the Louisville slugger that we drafted from, right there with Calvin Pryor. He certainly fits that, but a lot of our guys did. We got a little bitty receiver, but wait till you see him play. I mean, he's a tough little guy from Oklahoma, and we got a couple other guys. So we don't care what they look like, but when they fit that jet mentality, we certainly were excited about them.
Can McDougal challenge for a starting job at the corner, or is there some work you think you need to do with him before you can make that decision?
I think anytime a young guy comes from college, it's a big jump going to the NFL. But I will say this. He certainly has the characteristics and the traits that you look for. He's a smart young man. He's a guy that, just loves the game, is so passionate about it. He broke his shoulder, had a issue there. He came back, had a big hit on a guy, and unfortunately he took the worst of it. But he's a physical player, and certainly he has the physical traits to play in this league.
Now, we just asked John Idzik this. I don't know if he's being cheap or not, but he said that your son is not going to get paid a scouting fee because he would lose his eligibility. But how much did your son come into play when you guys selecting Taj Boyd?
Well, we had we certainly, have an idea of Taj Boyd. We were at his pro day, John, myself, Terry, and then we had, been tracking his progress throughout the year. We sent David Lee down there to work with Taj, to work him out privately. So we know a ton about him. But it doesn't hurt when, obviously your son's there. You're going to, we took advantage of it. We just asked what kind of person he was, what kind of leader he was. And when he said that if he called a team meeting at 2 a.m., the entire football team would be there with no questions asked. That's the kind of guy that Taj is. And obviously, the young man doesn't need really my son's help or anybody else's. He threw for over 12,000 yards and rushed for over 1,000 yards, in the ACC. Back-to-back 11-win seasons, and two back-to-back top 10 finishes, for their program. So obviously he's a tremendous player in his own right.
Rex, will he be battling Matt Sims for that number 3 spot at quarterback?
Yeah, I would think so. I think it's going to be great competition, and really that's what we're all about. These 12 picks, they're bringing in tons of competition. As I said before, I'm comfortable with going into games with what we already had, but the fact we're able to add, players on top of guys that we really think fit into our locker room and play and the way we want, I think is going to be bring out tremendous competition, and that the competition for quarterback is going to be really something to watch.
And looking a little bit, stat-wise, and looking at some of the highlights and watching him play a little bit in college, it looks like the tight end Amaro is a Rex guy. Would you agree with that?
Well, they're all Rex guys and whoever guys and all that type of stuff because they're Jet guys. And I think that's one thing about this organization. We're 100% committed, and when we see guys, if they're wearing that green and white, it certainly means that this organization felt great about him and that they would play a certain way. And, when you see him, he's a big guy. He's going to be a matchup problem for people. He caught 106 passes last year. I think the most receiving yards and receptions for a tight end in college history. So I think that's impressive. And the other thing is he's a willing blocker. He does an excellent job in space. He has had some inline blocking experience as well. But again, we're really excited about him and looking forward to seeing what Marty and company can do with him.